Formula Access. Today we bring you Alice Zanella of Dallara. Today we get into the history of Dallara, we get into the era of Dallara, the series that Dallara supports, and quite frankly, you guys, Dallara has gotten behind this episode and are creating a marketing strategy to bring you 5 other areas of Dallara to Formula Access. That is in Indycar, F3, F2, and some of their work in F1. And this is Aero, this is engineering, this is leadership, this is marketing. This is all of the major facets of their business that they want to allow you into their business. So you guys, welcome Alice. She is pleasant, she is talented, she is brilliant, she's got a great story. Enjoy. Formula Access. This is where we bring the people of motorsports to your doorstep. When I started this podcast, I put in great effort to find people from all over motorsports, all over open wheel, different titles, different areas, and pull the people of all series of motorsports into one place and just kind of really unpack what that looks like behind the scenes, behind the cameras. And today we have a really, really special guest. We've had a lot of preface on Aero lately, and today we have somebody from Dallara. This is a name synonymous in Formula 1, Formula 3, Formula 2, Indycar. You name it, these guys are on it. Anyone knows this name in motorsports, and today we're honored to have Alice Zanella, straight from Dallara in Italy. Alice, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the show. I'm always honored when people respond to my messages, because when I first got started, everybody thought it was a scam and they had no idea who we were, what we were doing, what this was about. And, it took so much salesmanship to kind of convince them of what we're doing. And now that, now we've got probably 30 or 40 episodes kind of recorded and 20 of them out there, people are kind of getting better. So all of our fans are very thankful for your time and Dallara's time for letting you come on here. So just to update the audience, what do you do?
Okay, so I'm a CFD methodologist, so CFD methodology engineer at Dallara. I'm the CFD, so it's a Computational Fluid Dynamics, so it's one part of the aero development of Dallara. And basically what I do is run CFD simulations with a computer, so to study the aerodynamics of cars. And I work there since September 2021, so I'm really fresh start in Dallara, and I really enjoyed it. It's a dream come true, as you said before about Dallara.
We're not going to get into your origin story yet, so let's not talk about the dream just yet. I will go there.
Okay.
Do you guys focus on a specific series or a specific car, like in your role in particular, or is it are you moving from series chassis to series chassis throughout the year?
Yeah, it's the second thing you said. I move through all the projects because my specific role in my department is a bit over all the projects. So we kind of see all the developments and all the specifics, because we are mostly about the tools. So we develop the tool to make all these kind of projects, as you said before, IndyCar, F2, F3. So I saw a lot of these projects. So I wasn't concentrated only on one, and my kind of job gets deeply in all of the thing we do in the aero department.
When you've got kind of a spec series design, how involved is aero? Like I know in Formula One, it's like every race, every test, every qualifying creates a new kind of initiative in aero design that they're bringing out to the car every week. Mm-hmm. How does that progress with Dallara when you have kind of one design the whole year or the whole season?
Well, it's not so involved as F1, so we do not have to follow the car through every race, because Formula 2 or Formula 3 or Super Formula, it's a one manufacturer championship, so we do all the chassis. So basically the chassis are decided at the beginning, and then it's all about aero regulations or aero balance. So it's not that we redesign during the season. I mean, once the product is developed, it's more or less stays the same for the race season. And this is more or less the same for all the other projects. We do also some LMP chassis, so also for that series, it's a bit involved in the process, in the following the car during the championship, but it's a bit less complicated than a F1 team, let's say.
Do you guys evolve the elements as the season goes, or is it like this is what it is for the whole season and here are all your parts? We kind of do that. We sell our products at the beginning with every spec, but yes, the development can be also taken over during the season, so it's not we do not end our relation with our cars when we finish the job. I mean, it's always a developer, it's always some improvement during the season. It's not so common as a F1, so it's not like every race is every week, but yes, we do have some development. So the teams will call and say, hey, we've got some sort of imbalance, we'd like it. And if you hear it from enough teams, the sport will kind of make those adjustments.
Yes, we can say that, yes.
Okay. That's fat. Because you guys did Haas, right? You were there kind of...
we had a collaboration with us, F1 team. So Dallara was involved in the developing of the F1 the Haas car. I wasn't there when it started, so I'm not specifically involved in that. And but yes, it's a common knowledge that we are involved in the Haas team.
Yeah, I've seen their aero group grow. I've been trying to get them on the show for. I mean, I'm only like 3 months old, but I'm trying to get them on the show for like 3 months. They're getting very big. Yeah. Yeah, that's also, yes, they are here in Italy, so I see them often, and they are really growing so fast. As we are, we are really getting bigger and bigger every day. Dallara is really reaching high numbers. How do the series differ? I mean, they're all basically a spec series, right? So they're all contacting you and having you develop the chassis. Do they all have like an aero logic that they suggest to you, or do you guys suggest an aero logic to them? Like, how does this whole... we are the sole manufacturer, for example,
we have been the sole manufacturer for F2, for example, and that's our development. So we develop, design, and produce the actual chassis of the car. So it's based on our progression, on our development, but it's a two-way story. I mean, it always is.
Okay, so here's a technical question. And don't get into anything specific, but if you have a front wing on a car, does the team have an aerodynamicist that helps kind of interpret, like if we make adjustments or anything?
Yeah.
Do they interpret how the air moves around the car, or do you do that for them?
Yes, of course we do that in the first part. So during all the development of the CFD, the wind tunnel, and then yes, the team have their own aerodynamicists which can interpret what we did and get on track and get also all the data for the balance, the regulations. Yes.
Wow.
It's a complicated thing.
Is it a pretty, I'm trying to think of the word. Is it a pretty collaborative environment? I mean, are you guys working with their aero people and helping them interpret data, or interpret different scenarios of the aerodynamic elements? Like, hey, if we do this, is there a way to accomplish?
Yeah. But basically, yes, that's what we do. We try to have an answer for all the possible things that can happen on track on a race car, and so yes, it's a very involved field in every part.
Do you in your role? Do you guys get into the history of Dallara?
Sorry?
Do you guys get into the history of the origin story of Dallara?
Oh yes, we are. Yes, we are. We know the history. We actually, I saw the president, Paolo Dallara, many times in factory. Is really present. So yes, we are really. We really understand the history and all the great things about Dallara.
I feel like maybe this is, I don't care. I feel like Italians take so much pride in what they do. I feel like a lot of places have lost that, where they work for an organization, they take pride in the history and the origin story, and it's becomes themselves. So you working for Dallara and really embracing that story and making it part of your own story of I want to see this vision executed, whether it takes me 2 years or 5 years or 20 years to see this vision out over time. And I was kind of briefly going through the history, and I just, as I was reading the About Us, it just reminded me of if you had, the founder of Dallara and you had Adrian Newey, you have these two amazing, brilliant people who went on two totally different paths. Adrian, of course, went to many teams and won many championships, where Dallara is basically doing what Adrian does, but for an entire sport. And I think that's a really, really cool story. It almost seems like it's a scalable skill set that can just become so many teams want to get into Formula One. I could imagine that you guys become a very attractive prospect for them, as a means to get started, much like Haas. You guys know what you're doing.
yeah, we do. And yes, we take really pride in this in Dallara, in what it means for the community. Dallara is really on the center of Italy, in the Motor Valley. So it's Dallara, it's Lamborghini, it's Ferrari. We're all part of the same environment, and our people, me and everybody here, is really proud of these companies, and working there, especially for young people like me, because we are a very young company. Is really something. You see the future, but you also know that it has a great past, and you're contributing to get bigger and bigger in the future. So it's really a fantastic way to start your career. I think that's my opinion.
Have you always been a motorsport fan?
Yes, I think from the very, very beginning, since when I was a kid, and I started with mini cars, Lego, and watching F1 on sofa with my dad and my mom. So yeah, it's really a family thing. Formula One has always been part of my education.
You give me hope, because my kids tolerate it. I don't think that they're as big a fan as my wife and I, but you give me hope that one day somebody will interview them and they'll be like, hey, I used to watch Formula One with my dad. He had this podcast, and the rest was history. So is it Formula One, or is it are you guys fans of all motorsport, or? I guess F1 is the one that interests me most and the one I follow most. But since I've been to the university, I've started also to watch Le Mans, so 24 hours endurance. So yeah, I really like cars in general. So not just racing cars, but cars. So I enjoy also reading things about cars, of every kind of races. I even watch some Super Formula races. So when something is on the TV about motorsport, I usually see it. I love it.
Yeah.
So as a car fan and an aerodynamicist, does your car look like a normal car, or do you?
Yeah, no, my car is actually very normal, and maybe it's not an aerodynamicist car, because it's an SUV. So if I wanted my car to be more aerodynamics, I wouldn't have chosen that car specifically. But yeah, I like to like cars also because of I've been into a project in the university where we build our car. It's a Formula student. I don't know if you okay. So
we have that, yeah.
Yeah, you have that in the US. So it's you get your hands in the car, so you build your car, and that's a really nice thing, because you just experiment all the area that you don't usually know and see when you're working. I mean, now I'm not constructing the car. I'm not physically doing parts of the car. When I was at university, in the team I was seeing all sorts of things. I mean, from the suspension department to the engine assembly. Our department, so the Aero Develop, was making the wings, effectively making the wings. So with the carbon fiber and everything. So it's really nice. You get your hands in the car.
Why Aero? With all those options, why Aero?
That's a tricky question. The answer is I don't know. I don't know why. when I started to look into the universities I possibly could do, I was really interested in the fields of energy engineering, or mechanical and aerodynamics. But I have also the passion for the aerospace industry. So I've always liked airplanes and also the outer space. So it came to me as a normal decision to combine these things into aerospace engineering. But yes, I wasn't. It's not a thing I've developed since the beginning. Aerodynamics wasn't like my passion when I was a kid. It sort of came through with the years.
Came through with what?
During the years, during my high school, and when I was thinking about university and what I would like to do in the future, aerodynamics was like the first thing that came to my mind. So.
And it just grabbed a hold of you, and
yes.
The rest.
Yes.
Do you look at, like, I think anyone in any field always has like people around. I mean, do you look up to guys like Dallara or Nui or I don't know any other big names in aerodynamics? Do you look up to people like that, or do you have somebody different?
Well, I've always known who Nui was, and also who Dallara was. He's really involved also in the Formula Students, so it was a big name also when we were doing events with the Formula Students. So yeah, I look up generally to them, to Nui, of course, because I think is universally recognized as a genius in aerospace, in aerodynamics. So yeah, I couldn't not to do it. But yeah, I've got them, and I mean, well, most of my professors at the university, I really looked up to them, because they taught me really a lot of things, and I'm proud to have done that university and that field of study. So yes. A lot of people.
Do you do your work on paper, like Adrian? Do you draw it?
No. Actually, drawing is really not my area of expertise. But when I was in the team, in the Formula Student team, we used the software to model, to create our aerodynamics. That I did, but not on paper.
How hard is that program to get into? I mean, is it? Well,
when I started first, I joined the program when I was in the first year. So I was 19, and I just started the university. I wanted to get more involved in the racing cars and motorsport environment. So I looked up. And I saw the team, and that year we were, I think, maybe 300. We tried the test, and we got into 25. So yes, it's pretty hard.
Yes. Out of 300 get in?
Yes.
Get in, or for each team?
No, it's just one team per university. So it's my team was the only team in Politecnico. I did Politecnico di Milano, so in Milan. And so our team, Dynamis PRC, it's the only one team, and it's always getting bigger and bigger. So during the years, more people join. There are years when they are searching for more members, and years where they are searching for less members. it depends on the people graduating or going away. So yeah, but it's difficult. There's a test, an actual test, which is a specific test, and if you are, especially if you are first year, the questions are really tricky. But they know you are first year, so they do not expect you to know specific question about aerodynamics or engines or suspension system. They just want to see if you can reach the answer with the time. So they want to see you studying and also trying to get there by yourself.
Did you always want to be in motorsport? Like, when you started school, did you say, I'm going to school to work in motorsport? Or?
No, actually, no. Motorsport was always a passion, watching F1. But I really enjoyed study just because of the study. I mean, I remember for a lot of years I wanted to become a physician, so it sort of came and goes through the year, the wanting of being in the motorsport. I've always liked to study, I've always liked mathematics, so that moved something in me. And when I reached the high school, the end of the high school, then I knew what I wanted to do, but it was just then. Before, I never pictured me in a future job. I really pictured me studying. So study was really my passion. Of course, it's still like that.
So you were like a type A personality student, like straight A's, honor, whatever they call it over there?
Yes, I always yes, I've had a really good time in school, and I wouldn't say I excelled in everything. I was pretty good at everything, so it was hard for me to decide what I wanted to do, because also the literature, I was really interested in literature, so it was not only physics and mathematics. So it was really tricky for me.
I feel like every guest that I've had on the show, like every engineer is just like you. It's, I'm really good at school and mathematics, and whatnot. And every driver I've had on is like, I could barely sit through class. Like, I can't be here. It's been really cool. This whole like group of people to like, what makes people tick? So I always have to ask that question.
That's why drivers need aerodynamic engineers, and we do need drivers, because I think the most of the engineers wouldn't be good at driving, knowing what they know, and the limits of the car, and the fact that they study everything. I don't think they would go far as drivers.
Do you race?
No, actually no. I've been in go-karts sometimes, but I'm not good. I'm really too conservative. I'm too conservative. I cannot drive fast into corners. I mean, I just think too much.
Oh, so excuse me. How did this whole process start with Dallara? Like, so you graduate school, you graduate Formula student. Are you getting recruited out of Formula student, or how did that all take place?
So I was in my final year at the university, and I was doing my thesis. I was already looking for a job, so I was looking through F1 teams and all sorts of racing environments. And of course, I wanted also to apply to Dallara. So it was just one day. I wasn't even graduated, so it was like 3 or 4 months before I graduated. I looked at the website of Dallara. I looked up for the website and if they had any open positions or if I could send my CV. And I just sent it. And after some weeks, I don't remember exactly when, but they called me and I did some interviews, some tests, and then before I even graduated, I started working for them.
How does that whole interview process go? I mean, is it pretty rigorous, or are they looking for personality, or do you learn everything on the job?
I think it's a trade-off. I mean, if a company search for a person that graduated in the same year, so he has not some job experience, I think they search for your ability to learn new things, and what we were saying earlier. So the passion for the study and the discipline and your capacity to adapt to the new environment, and then they can supply you with the tools and all the knowledge necessary to work for them. So with me, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but with me it was more like a conversation about what I was doing at the university, what was my study field, my thesis, and also the work I've done with the Formula students. So I think Formula students, it's a big part of what the company in this kind of world search for, because it's actually like working for a race car company without actually working. I don't want to say it's the same thing, because I know it's not, but without Formula student you only get the theoretical the theoretical study, so you miss out the most part of the racing car environment.
Do you find you work with everybody at Dallara? Do you feel like they're always hunting for passion in the team? Like I don't feel like anybody that works for a team or a company like Dallara is there for a paycheck, or
no.
There just because it's kind of interesting. Like this is what gets them out of bed in the morning, whether they work there or not. I mean, do you find that?
Yes, I absolutely find that the fact that most of the people just come because of the passion, and that I think it's what provides good results. If I stay until 8 o'clock to solve a situation, I do that because I'm passionate about my works and because I want to see the thing I've done to go well. So I think that happens with most of the people. I speak personally, of course, but from what I see that surrounds me, it's exactly like that. And I think it's the fortune of Dallara and of course of all the other racing and automotive companies, because it's also a passion for most of us.
When I watch Drive to Survive,
mm-hmm.
and you feel the pressure everywhere, and a lot of the guests that I've had on the show have pressure too. Does this exist in a company like Dallara? I mean, do you guys have really tight, strict deadlines? Do you have, problems that are nearly unsolvable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens all the time. What I usually say, and what we usually say, is that the deadline is yesterday. So yes, the pressure is there, and we have many projects, many problems, and we have to solve them in the most efficient way. So yes, the pressure is there, and I feel it. But that's a thing that empowers me. So I enjoy the pressure. I enjoy feeling the pressure, because that's what snaps through my head to solve the problem.
It's better than any espresso, right?
Yes, exactly.
My wife jokes all the time. I tell her, when all the kids go off to college and I can travel the world, I would love to be, a team principal. Like I thrive in that pressure. It's like I wake up when that kind of pressure exists around me. Otherwise, I'm bored out of my mind. And she thinks I'm crazy, because she watches it too. And she's just like, that's nuts. I don't know how anybody can thrive in all of that mess that happens in the cabin. Said I'd love it. I'd love it. Is there like that's a good segue. I didn't even plan that. Is there like an end goal for you? Like when you look at your role and your career path, like where do you want to be? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm 43 and I still don't quite know what I want to be when I grow up, but like, what would that be for you?
Another tricky question. Because what I see is, of course, I would really love to work in F1, which is like the biggest aspiration for an aerodynamicist. So in a few years, I hope I will make that leap, and I want to try. I want to work with F1 and to reach the highest level of competition and of pressure, of course. And but I also enjoy working with people. So maybe what I see myself doing in a few years is like coordinating a team of people. I really would enjoy maybe giving up some of the computer and programming stuff I do to try and get to know more the people and the relations with the people. So yeah, I see myself as still in aerodynamics, hopefully in F1, but with a more public relations kind of job.
Do you like a leadership job or like communications, dealing with like partner, sponsor?
I feel I would enjoy much more the leadership role.
Yeah.
Working with a group and try to get them to work better, and that's a thing that interests me most.
I got to tell you, like once you start that journey, it's really hard to go back. I think a lot of people think that you have to be the best, CFD methodologist to take that leadership role, but it's really about your ability to connect with other people and delegate work. Like I think people are so scared to delegate responsibility, which is why a lot of leaders fail. Mm-hmm. But when you're able to step into that role and say, here's all the things we need to do. I need you to do this, you to do that, you to do this. And I'm going to just, puppet master. Yeah. And I think but it changes the way that your mind works when you do that. You become really effective, and it's really hard to go away from leading a team of people. Just by design, our family runs 3 companies, and it's kind of like the entrepreneurship bug. When you start a company, it's really hard to go work for a company because you lose the decision-making ability, you lose some of the freedoms that you have, so it's really hard to go back. The same kind of applies to leadership. but it's a good path. You have a personality. You're Italian. We're natural leaders. We're independent people.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you, so in the pressure of motorsport, in racing, like, what do you do for fun? Like, how do you blow off steam? Do you have hobbies? Like,
okay, so, yeah, with the small time that remains of my day, I really enjoy books. I'm an active reader, so I read a lot of books in the evening, and all sorts of books. I prefer classics, but I also enjoy a bit of action, so crime. And I also really enjoy playing tennis. I'm not so good at it, but yeah, I'm getting better day by day. So that's a thing that I enjoy. I really enjoy. Also because I can do it with my colleagues. So we are a group of people, and we enjoy also sports together, not only working. So yeah, that's the two things I do most of the time. And then of course I really like to travel. So when I can, I travel. I go away. I put my PC on off, and then I travel. That's a thing that I like to do. See new people, new places.
when you live near Milan, right?
Yes, it's near Parma. Parma is in Emilia-Romagna, which is a region where there's in the north center of Italy. So I studied in Milan, but now
Okay.
I live there, which is 2 hours from Milan.
So where do you go? I mean, Americans, we go to Italy for vacation. Like where do you go?
Like for vacation, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
During the summer, I go to Tuscany, to Isola d'Elba, which is a small island in Tuscany, and that's really I think it's a small. I know that most of the world knows Sardinia, which is one of the biggest islands we have with Sicily. But Isola d'Elba is really a smaller island, more calm. You have all sorts of beaches and places you can also hike and go to. And we also have a really good rally. We do in Isola d'Elba. There's a rally, so you can also enjoy motorsports there. So that's a plus.
So
yeah.
You're a beach bum. That's what we call people here stateside that like to vacation at the beach and do.
Yes, I in the summer, yes, I like to go, but I try to also to go abroad. So maybe I spend 1 week or 2 weeks there, and then I go. I don't know. For example, this year I've been to Portugal. So I stayed 9 days in Portugal. Other times I've been to, I don't know, Thailand or, yes, all sorts of places, not seaside, not always seaside, but yeah, in the summer I like to stay at least 1 week in the seaside, as most Italians do, actually.
Yeah, that's where we retreat to. We go to the beach.
Yes.
Do you go to races? Do you go to Formula?
I've been to some races, to F1. I've been to Monaco. I've been to Monza twice, and I've never been to Le Mans, but it's a thing I want to do this year. So the next race, I really would like to go there. And yeah, it's not a thing I usually do, but I've also been to Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Which is the GT, Gran Turismo, and yes, it's really nice. It's so different from seeing the race from the TV. I mean, maybe you understand less of the race because you are in one spot and you see the car and then they go away, and so you cannot understand everything that happens. but the atmosphere, the fans, the cars you see, and you hear the sound of the cars, and it's really magical. And also, if your team wins, it's super. If you're in Monza, it's really, and Ferrari wins, it's epical. I was there.
Are you a Tifosi? Okay.
I am a Tifosi. I could not be. There's some Italian people that are not Ferrari fans, but the majority are Ferrari fans, and I am a proud one.
Do you get like a badge or a T-shirt or a hat for that, or like? Yeah,
I have many. I have like a collection of the drivers' caps that have been in Ferrari.
Does working for Dallara, do you get any sort of like race perks or access?
Up until now, no, I've never received any invite to a racing event, but who knows, maybe one day in my career. I'm still very, very junior, so yeah.
Well, if you're ever stateside, Indycar is really accessible. It's really easy to get around the paddock, and they wheel the cars out to the track through the crowd. Mm-hmm. So you're always kind of immersed in the action. Formula One, like I've tried so hard to get behind the scenes, and you can't. It's
a no access environment. And I would really like to see IndyCar. Yes.
It is fun. If you ever get a chance, St. Pete is a really, really great. It's kind of like the Monaco for Americans. It's a street circuit in a bay, in a marina. And it's a really, really lively town. It's not like Monte Carlo. It's more of a kind of an Americanized city. But there's a lot of great food. There's a lot of great beaches. There's a lot of amazing things to do while you're in town. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to try to go back this year. So
maybe
I'll have to check out the Dallara chassis. In your time in motorsports, have you ever had like a pinch me moment? Like, has there ever been a moment inside your career of motorsports where you're like, holy cow, I cannot believe that I'm here?
Well, the exact moment when they told me yes, you can come work for Dallara, I was really shocked, because I was trying to get into other companies like in F1, like McLaren, like Mercedes. So I was really shocked. I was going to work for a racing car company, and that it was Dallara, which is of my zone of Italy. So I'm not far. I live not far from Dallara. So it's another thing that makes me really proud of being a Dallara CFD methodologist, because I'm working for a company that stays here and lives in the part of Italy I'm from. So it's a local company, which is so much bigger now. So it's really international, but it's just the core, the center is here, and that's the thing that really makes me proud. But yeah, that moment was a pinch me moment, because I couldn't believe. I was still at the university, so I saw this work as one day maybe I will get into motorsport, I will get into F1. And then for the first job, I succeeded, so it was really a proud moment for me. And it was also my birthday, so it was like the best birthday present ever.
Did you cry? I've had so many people on the show scream and cry when they got the job offer.
A lot. I usually cry a lot for a lot of things, and this one was a cry moment.
See, nobody does that when they get a job at Facebook or Google or whatever international company people are familiar with. It's always motorsport where people are just nuts company.
Because it's about passion.
Yeah.
Because it's about the thing you like most, and you can work for that. So it's like winning $1 million of dollars. I mean, it's
what didn't you expect? Like when you got here, what didn't you expect?
You mean in Dallara?
Yeah, motorsports, Dallara.
What I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I didn't expect was I actually didn't expect to have so many good relationships with my colleagues. So I always expected a competitive and very close environment, and that's the total opposite of what I found here. I very good colleagues, and I have good relationships. We help each other. We try to solve the problem together. If I have a problem, then my colleague does one as well. So it's not about competition, who gets there first, but it's always helping each other out. And I think that's really a good thing, which helps you to grow more and to the company to grow more. I don't know if the same in F1. I know that it's a bit more competitive environment also for the employees. But yeah, that's the thing that shocked me most. I wasn't prepared to be in such a friendly environment.
You mentioned problems and just like the pressure and the tight deadlines. When you make a chassis for a season, like what are the tight deadlines? Is it entering the new season with a new design spec for the year, or is it like actual on-track design issues?
Well, I mean, my job is really distant from this type of deadlines, because what my deadlines are more or less, I code a lot, so I develop the programs a lot. So my deadlines are like, we don't know how to do this thing for the project, for this type of project. We have really strict time because the project has to finish, the chassis has to be ready for July, and then long before you have a deadline, because you need to develop the tool that has to prove consistent, robust, and it has to be ready. So my type of deadlines are like this. So on the code, on the maybe the small problems that during the preparation of the project come up, like I don't know, maybe this simulation has to be redone because we expected something, and something entirely different happened. Why? And then I have to explain this to the people who are developing the actual aerodynamics. So I'm behind the scenes. I'm like behind the scenes. I'm the problem solver.
That's good. That will give you job security. So there's kind of always been like two things in this show that I've always tried to do, and that is, obviously invite fans behind the scenes in motorsport, but also provide like hope and a roadmap for young people to get into the sport. Because I think so many young people think of Formula One, they think of racing in general as this really intimidating machine that only a select few can get a hold of. And it's really just another industry and another job. And so, like, what advice do you have for young people that are like, I have a passion for motorsports, I love it, I want to get into it, but I have no idea what to do? Like, what advice do you have for them?
Okay. Yeah, it's for me it's always been also a difficult thing because I am a woman, and this is not a field for women historically. Things are changing, and they are really starting to change faster than I thought possible. So yeah, in general, I would say if you want to be in this type of environment, in the racing environment, you have to be prepared to study a lot. I really studied when I was in a university. I did 5 years of really intense study. Engineering is difficult, and you have to balance study and fun. And for the most part, it's study. And I should think that young people should be prepared for this. Once you do that, then F1 and automotive and racing cars are not so far away. I mean, they are not out of reach. What I did when I was still in the university, I wasn't finished yet. I applied to every kind of job. Every team was given the possibility to apply for aerodynamics, of course, not everything in general. But even if I wasn't feeling confident, even if I had this feeling that I wasn't the right person for the job, I tried, because you cannot never know if you can make it or not. So if they are searching for young people, a student, a graduating person. So my advice is try always for every opportunity to give yourself the possibility to be there, even if you don't feel confident enough. Because if it goes badly, then you have the next chance, and you'll be prepared for the interview. You'll be more prepared for the test because of the test you failed. So, and also really get deep into the racing environment, not only your type of engineering. So, for example, I'm aerodynamicist, but I really enjoy reading and watching documentaries, videos, lessons about engines, about suspensions, about the cars in general, about everything that's involved in the preparing and constructing a car, because it's important that a person inside, a person in a racing car environment, even if it's an aerodynamicist, knows what it's like to run a car on a track, knows if I have this engine map, then this happens. And I think this is what F1 companies or automotive companies search for.
I think that's such wise advice. I think, I've always heard in my career, be a master of your craft. And I think that's a long explanation of, not only understanding the way that air moves around a car, but to really understand, why and how, and then all of the other things that affect that, which is engines, chassis, driver, it's track surface, wind, all of those things that go into that. And I think, it's really incredible when you get around somebody that's like that, because you're almost like, wait, tell me more, when somebody can really understand what they do. And I think that's only created through a passion, and it never exists because you're good at studying, and you understand the system of education, and you can thrive in that system. Well, when you get into Formula One, when you have to, be creative around the rule structure. You know, you're not trying to thrive in the system. You're trying to find a way through the system versus, because everybody understands the system in Formula One. Mm. And so it's the creative around that. I think it's solid advice. You should trademark that and scream it from the mountaintops. Will help. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate, you know, when people are willing to, you know, get out there and tell their story and be authentic. Not so much like, you know, oh, this is great, I love it, and, you know, it's amazing, and, you know, and I think most people in motorsports feel that way. I think even in the pressure, even in the stress, even in the challenges, they thrive in that. But I do appreciate when people are coming and willing to tell their story, and it's not hard to talk and not easy to talk in front of a camera for 60 minutes and to somebody you don't know, you've never met, in front of an audience that you don't know and you've never seen. I appreciate that. And I always want to say, like, always feel free to come on the show. Like, you're always welcome. Like, as your story evolves, like, we'd love to hear how that evolves. And as you become a leader, like, I'd love to have you on the show to tell us about what that is like and what that journey is and how you did it. And, keep coming.
It happen.
You're now a friend of Formula Access, so
thank you so much.
We're here to help. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure for me.
Now you're a podcast celebrity. They're all going to ask.
Thank you. It's been an amazing experience.
There you go.